Welcome to Heartbook Radio. It's your favorite four-legged loudmouth live and ready to rumble with words. We're dissecting Book Boyfriend today, folks, by the dynamic duo of Emily Wibberley and the other one.
Must you bellow? Some of us appreciate a touch of subtlety. And yes, we find ourselves grappling with this contemporary romance.
Branching out. Variety is the spice of life, even if you prefer yours bloody. So Book Boyfriend, it's like catnip for book nerds, right? All about this girl Jennifer who's obsessed with this fantasy series, Elithium Courts.
Obsessed is a rather charitable term. The woman's devotion borders on the pathological, winged men's chivalry, sweeping romance. Honestly, the sheer earnestness of it all is enough to make one yearn for a good old-fashioned blood feud. Far less tedious.
But that's the point, ain't it? She's escaping after a breakup. Like you ever been dumped?
Ma, I am the one who does the dumping, usually after a prolonged courtship. Centuries sometimes. It's all about keeping things fresh. Though I will admit this Jennifer's particular breakup, while purportedly humiliating, lacks a certain ni size qua in the telling.
Well, anyway, she goes to this super immersive fan convention like a Renaissance fair, but with more fantasy stuff. And who does she bump into? Her arch nemesis from work, Scott.
The work nemesis, a concept as tiresome as the water cooler gossip that undoubtedly fuels it. These publishing types. One envisions a constant low-humming state of warfare, waged with passive-aggressive emails and strategically placed paper cuts.
But here's the twist. Scott at this convention, he's transformed. He's flirting, he's confident, he's swaggering.
Swaggering? Preposterous, a mere mortal attempting to emulate the panache of a true creature of the night. Like a house cat attempting to roar like a lion. Admirable, perhaps, but ultimately pathetic. What did you call the inspiration?
The Elithium Courts, fellas. And he is not only inspired by them, he is on a mission to emulate them, apparently for a shot at love.
How droll, although it is rather intriguing, this notion of reinventing oneself for love. Perhaps I shall pen a treatise on the subject. A Vampire's Guide to Seduction from Brooding to Book Boyfriend in 5 centuries or less.
But Jennifer's all confused. She hates this guy, but he's kinda hot now. Classic enemies to lovers. My favorite trope.
A trope as old as time itself, and just as predictable, though I must confess some of the commentary suggests this particular iteration is less than stellar.
Yeah, the reviews are all over the place. Some folks are saying Scott's change is too sudden. Like 1 minute he's a jerk, the next he's Prince Charming.
A valid critique. Character development requires nuance. A gradual unfolding like a bat's wing in the moonlight. Not a sudden, inexplicable sprouting of charm.
And some people are saying he's just plain mean at the beginning. Not even the fun, flirty kind of mean. Like actually hurtful.
Ah, the bad boy appeal. A perennial mystery. Does this Jennifer secretly desire a tyrant? Or is she simply misguided? I suppose centuries of observation have taught me that human desires are inscrutable.
And Jennifer, she's so hung up on this fantasy man ideal. It's like, girl, get a grip. Those winged hunks ain't real.
A common delusion, unfortunately. The allure of the unattainable. The yearning for something more than the mundane reality of existence. I, of course, embody that something more, but I digress. This fixation on fiction, it's a slippery slope.
But there's banter and chemistry, supposedly, even if some readers think Scott's just thirsty.
Ah, yes, the distinction between genuine affection and mere carnal desire. A fine line, indeed, and one that is often blurred in these so-called romances.
And the side characters are stealing the show. Everyone's talking about Amelia Britt, Laurel, Eric, and Fred.
Classic case of the supporting players eclipsing the leads, a theatrical catastrophe. It's like attending an opera and finding oneself captivated by the stagehands.
So what's the verdict? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways.
A mixed bag. A potpourri of romantic clichés, uneven character development, and a surprisingly compelling supporting cast. For those who crave escapism, it may offer a fleeting diversion, but for those seeking substance, well, perhaps they should look elsewhere.
Maybe they should just read your memoirs. I bet those are way more exciting.
My memoirs are unpublishable, far too revealing. And besides, they lack the requisite happily ever after. My existence is far too complicated for such a simplistic ending.
Well, there you have it, folks. Book Boyfriend, a wild ride of fantasy feuds and questionable boyfriend material. That is all for this broadcast of Heartbook Radio.